YouTube, what it do, what it do. I am back again. Oh, guys, I appreciate every single last one of you guys. You guys are actually watching the videos. You guys are actually liking, leaving comments. I'm saying the channel is growing small. I'm a new content creator, so I expect it to be small. I'm not trying to get overnight success, but I want to thank you guys for taking the time to like, subscribe. And today we are doing a Fresh and Fit reaction. This is a very old Fresh and Fit episode. This is back when he had the roommates come over. And I knew the roommates prior to Fresh and Fit. I used to watch some of their old content. And this is one of my favorite videos because this is when Hafiz was, I think in my opinion, at his best. Right now he's doing something completely different, which I don't agree with, but to each his own. So without any further ado, let's get to the show.
Why are men so intimidated by the idea of coming home to a independent woman?
We're not.
First off, I hate that concept. Like that women think that men are intimidated by them. Like you are like a 5'4", 120 pounds. I'm a 6'3", 200-pound man. Why would I ever be intimidated by you? That's just such a bad way to phrase things.
Not intimidated. It's
I
a
would
headache.
think that an independent woman, like independence, is an attractive quality.
No.
How would you define independence?
I mean, in simple terms, a woman who doesn't need a man but wants a man and wants to be also. I mean, I can provide in my own ways, and the man will provide in his own ways. However that dynamic works, it'll work.
Okay, so you said a woman who doesn't need a man but wants a man.
Yeah.
So what do you mean by I'm trying to understand what do you mean by not?
I mean, I'm not a child. I don't need a parent. I want to be in a partnership. I want somebody who will, if I'm younger than him, for example, I want him to strive to raise me to his level. Just like I feel like a top tier men are drawn to people who they want to be their peers eventually.
Okay, so but what if you're older than him? Will you take him? So to me, that doesn't sound like it's a partnership or like it's equal. You want a man who's at his top tier to come put you on a pedestal so he can match up to you. But why don't you just date someone who's lower and you bring that person up? How about that? You want a man to come and teach you things. How about you take a man and teach him, or yeah, it's the same man. I'm about to say boy, but I ain't gonna disrespect the kings like that.
They like lifting people up, and I think that in a relationship it should be the same.
Well, I think for me, I think you're viewing it as a woman. I think it's hard to view it as a man. I think it's a reality thing because there's certain things that you value that men wouldn't value. So for example, let's say you made $200,000 a year, right? And your man made $50,000 a year, you would eventually want him to get there. Is that fair to say, ladies?
Absolutely.
And if he was lazy and he didn't want to get there, he wanted to stay at 50,000, would that be a turnoff? If he didn't want to get better?
Yeah, it's not about laziness. Here's another example. If I wanted to study something and I knew that I wouldn't be able to work for the next 8 years, medical school, for example, then if my man is willing to support me, I want him to eventually be happy with my success.
Yeah. So let me finish my.
You heard that? It's your success. Like dudes, men in general, when we go to college or we spend time at trade school, we do that for the family. We do that so we can attract a girl, so we can take care of a girl. It's not your success. It has to be the family success. It's not, if you want to be independent, just be by yourself. Don't expect me to pay for your success. I'm not going to do that.
Example, and I want to answer your question. So the point is that you guys want a man to get on your level. So guys, if a woman was making $50,000 and you're making $200,000, do you want her to make $200,000? Is that a priority for you guys?
No, not a priority.
So you see, guys, they don't view it that way. They you gotta think about it. Men are conditioned to protect and provide for thousands of years. So men are not looking for a teammate who can do what they do. It's like the best way I can break it down.
But it's not about doing. Sorry for interrupting you. I apologize. But it's not about doing what they do. It's about doing me and being supported and
So here's
supported emotionally.
She keeps going back to herself. Like she's so self-centered. Like it's not. Keep going back to yourself. Like you want to do you. Just do you by yourself. Like you want a man to kind of like finance your lifestyle, finance your journey to the top. What does he get at the end of the journey? What does he get?
Here's a problem. A man with options can choose, and unfortunately, you're the worst option. No disrespect. No disrespect, because here's the reality. There's two guys, right?
Mhm.
There's a guy that makes 500,000. All things are equal. They're both handsome. They're both tall. They're both successful in their own sense, right? One is a successful teacher making 50,000. One is a successful doctor making 500,000. Which one is more attractive?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I blinked out a second ago.
Okay, cool. So there's two
brain went to La La
two
Land.
guys, and everything is equal. Okay.
Thank you.
one of them makes 50,000.
Uh-huh.
One of them makes 500,000.
Mhm.
Which one is more attractive? Everything is equal.
It's okay to say the truth.
I know.
Yeah, just say the
It's
truth.
Listen.
The feminism in her won't allow it.
No. I'll answer honestly.
She's
I want
talking.
an equal partner.
I'm just as mesmerized by fancy, shiny things as any other person is. I find that sometimes men who have a lot
No.
become entitled.
Listen.
No.
I just said
Equal.
everything was equal.
Okay, then yeah, for sure, the man who has more because my life would be better.
Because you value that more. So
True.
what you got to understand is women who think independence, you like that in men.
Yeah.
A man being independent, a man not needing you, a man to be able to take care of his stuff on his own. That's what you value in men. Men don't want that in women. Because the reality of the matter is, when a woman is really turned on by a man, when a woman is really in love with a man, when she really respects him, she becomes utterly dependent upon him because she does not want him to.
True. Because if you like a woman and that understand how men think, and you learn that whenever you're in your feminine, men typically want to take care of you. Like, so if you are abrasive, kind of like loud and rude, that's like a turn off the guy. So if you find yourself a man that you really love and admire and care about, you typically want to show your best light and kind of like get into your feminine. So
To leave.
So here's what I don't like. My biggest fear is to lose my independence and to rely
Then don't
on
get
somebody
married.
else.
And know where that comes from? Where does that come from?
Oh.
I don't know. I mean, I've been independent since I was 18, and I think it's a very important thing to me.
I know, but where does that fear come from?
media.
I don't know. I don't want to rely on anyone. I wasn't brought up to rely on anyone, and I don't think
Exactly.
I should.
That came. So what happened in childhood? Either your experience showed you, or somebody communicated that to you. Because you're talking about, I have a fear. You can't live your life according to fear. Imagine me saying, I have a fear of crashing on a plane. I can never get.
This is like peak Hafiz back when he was actually doing his thing back then. I don't know what happened. He kind of fall off
on the plane.
Damn.
So your whole relationship movement is based upon a fear. That's unhealthy. And so what I've noticed is a lot of women, when they move in a relationship, is based out of fear. You can't live your life based upon fear.
I think it's unhealthy to put yourself in situations where you could potentially be left with nothing.
But that's the mindset.
That's the fear.
and that's a wrong mindset too, because typically the guy loses everything. The guy loses the kids. He loses half his paycheck or half his like assets. He has to pay alimony. Like, what do you have to lose? All you lose is, I mean, I guess you can say, just be like, keep it 100. She loses her time, when she gets divorced. But she can almost find like a simp guy to come rescue her and her kids. It happens all the time. Like, come on, you don't lose nothing.
You see how you're living your life? You're living your life worst case scenario thinking.
Yeah.
Imagine me saying, I don't want to start a business because if I open a business, I can lose all my money. Because that's a risk
That's
of
true.
starting a business.
Yeah.
You can put all your time, energy, effort, and money and resources into a business and lose it all. So what happens is a lot of women have seen either from divorces in their family, either from their mom whining and complaining, or they've seen a woman being in an unhealthy situation, and now their fear is the worst case possible
So
scenario.
here's another worst case possible scenario.
But do you not see how living like that is a problem?
I do understand. I completely agree, but I do think that there's a place for responsibility. And women in relationships, because there is a power dynamic, oftentimes can be put in situations where they can't get out.
So here's a problem.
What?
You said oftentimes. That is your personal experience.
It's not my personal experience. All of my relationships have ended amicably, and I respect all of my exes. I've never been abused, thank God. I've never had any like negative situation like that where I relied on someone. Never.
So let me tell you why it's your personal experience. Because when it comes to divorce, if you can look it up right now, we have all the data. Women divorce men at higher rates than men divorce women. 70 to 80% of divorces are initiated by women. We have Google right now. We can go ahead and pull it up. So the reality of women being left by men is a misnomer. It is feminine mythology.
I'm not talking about. My concern is not being left by a man. My concern is jumping head on into a relationship where I'm feeling like I'm being supported and helped, eventually losing my independence because I'm relying on him. I don't need to work if somebody's paying my.
Okay, no. Once you get married, you lose your independence by definition. You cannot be married and be independent. It's a contradiction. Once you get married, you become it's two people now. You can't be by yourself. You can't just move around the way you want to move around because you're married. You have to make that sacrifice.
What does that mean?
So I'm explaining. Wait, I lost my train of thought. What did you say a second ago?
What I said is that
women are not leaving men.
Your fear. You literally said the fear.
Oh, okay. I remember what I was talking about. Okay, my fear isn't that I won't be able to. My fear isn't that my man will leave me. My fear is that I won't be able to leave because I'll be put in a situation where I can't leave.
Okay, so that fear is based upon a worst case scenario. You're living your life on a worst case scenario. If you take that energy into business, you'll never be successful.
But
if you
relationships...
let me finish. If you take that energy into finances, you'll never have any money. If you take that energy into friendship, you'll never have any friends. So what happens is that if you're living your life based upon a scenario that a fearful thing can happen, that's on you. But the wise thing to be is to be like, okay, that's a possibility. So how can I, as a woman, find the right kind of man who will support me and help me not make that happen? There's no way possible you're going to find a guy where 100% of the time he will never do anything wrong. So life is a risk. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Number one, I do think that being a woman in the world, you do have to live not in fear. Maybe fear is the wrong word to use, but you do have to be very, very conscious and cautious of all the dangers around you. And relationships can turn dangerous at a certain point. That's number one. I'm not saying I'm living out of fear, not at all. Every relationship that I've been in. What does
that mean, though? You just said relationships can turn dangerous at a certain point. You know what's very fascinating about this is what you just shared. What do you mean by dangerous? You mean domestic violence?
Also.
Okay, so let's talk about domestic violence. You know what's fascinating? Do you know domestic violence in lesbian couples are the highest of all couples?
I mean, whether it's lesbians or straights or anything, it doesn't matter. Being in a relationship where you're relying 100% where you're codependent is unhealthy, in my opinion.
Codependent,
respectfully.
See, this is what happens when you create straw mans. When you make an extreme. So on one end of the extreme is codependency, where I have nothing without you. Another end of the extreme is where you're probably at, independency. I am without you. But the healthy medium is interdependency, is that I could exist without you, but I not only want you, but I need you.
So can I say,
let me finish, because I'm be honest with you right now, the energy that you're on is masculine energy.
Oh God, no.
No, why? Because you're comfortable. And this is the problem. You're comfortable with having to usurp your way. So a lot of times there's no, when it is a relationship, when women say they want equality, there's no equality. There's no two kings in one castle. There's no two presidents in one country. There's no two CEOs of one company. There's always a leader and somebody submits to your leadership. You want to be in charge.
I don't. I absolutely don't. I will say my dating style, I love a man who will support me, lift me up, help me. But at the same time, I'm not going to relinquish all of my power.
I understand it, but what I'm saying is that what you're communicating is an idea which you feel like you represent. But I'm telling you right now, from even communicating with you, from this conversation, talk to hundreds of women, the energy that you have is very masculine energy.
Oh my God.
You can say all that you want, but the idea is you want somebody to join your team. You want somebody to join your program. You want someone to follow and support you.
I want to join someone's team just the same. I think
that's not how it works. That's not how it works. When two companies merge, one company joins one company. When two kingdoms merge,
that's good enough, Hafiz. You killing that thing. I'm gonna let it rest from here. Yeah, pretty much. The girl was crazy. She kind of wants to be a boss. She wants to be independent at the same time be married, which doesn't make sense. Like, she wants to. I don't know. She's kind of like out of her mind, thinking that a man's gonna come and finance her lifestyle and finance her education, make her a boss babe, and simply just let her be free. That doesn't make sense. YouTube, that's a reaction. Hope you guys liked it. Please like, subscribe. I'm gonna keep dropping videos for you guys, and hopefully This can be a thing. You too. See you again. Peace.